Hey guys, Denzel from Castle Wash LLC here again. Finally bringing you that equipment overview I promised. Been talking about it for a while, so you've seen the trailer in my roof cleaning video, so I guess I might as well go ahead and show you everything I got. Let's see here. Let's start with the easy stuff. Let's talk about this ladder. It's a 10-foot A-frame, nothing fancy. It's aluminum, so it's light, which after a 2 or 3 hour job cleaning a roof up and down and picking this thing and moving it around the house, you're gonna appreciate that lightness. It's aluminum, so it's not gonna rust or anything. It really shouldn't oxidize if you get SH on it, which you will. Yeah, just rinse it off every time you're done. Be safe, don't break it, don't bend it. It'll last you a long time. Back here we got the fiberglass one. Now this fiberglass one is one of the adjustables, and it goes up to about 12 feet, I believe. That's the maximum reach. That's not bad. I don't do anything over 1 story, really. Some 2 stories I'll take the exception to. If it's a 2-story that I can get on like the front half of the roof to spray the top half of the roof, I'll take that. Other than that, I never really wanted to get that high off the ground, so these adders are perfect for me. The obvious thing some of you might have noticed immediately was this big old surface cleaner here. This is a Whisper Wash 36-inch. Everyone knows it, and they get a lot of hate on the internet, and I'm not quite sure why. I think a lot of guys are just running not enough gallons per minute through it. You're not getting the flow this thing really needs. Now, it might be their fault as well, because on the internet it says 8 to 12 gallons, but realistically, 8 is like at the lowest end that this thing will consistently perform for you. So I'm running 10 gallons a minute through it, and I've got it tipped for 12, and I'm running 40-degree tips. So a lot of guys will say it doesn't get close enough to the edge of whatever you're cleaning, but with the 40-degree, that water is actually kissing the skirt. So I can run these wheels where you see the wheels are. I can run those right on the edge of the pavement, and it'll get all the way out. I don't even have to go back and like edge it with a turbo nozzle or anything. So it's been pretty good to me. I got this one for cheap. As you can see, the handle was kind of separated in the middle, so I went out and got a band clamp and some PVC, and I cranked that sucker down, and it is virtually rock solid. Had to get a new whip hose for it. It's all 3/8, and pretty fantastic. Now another weird thing, when I bought it, I don't know if you can see that, there's no bearings in these wheels. And I noticed it when I bought it from the guy, nice kid, or not kid, he's probably my age, running a way more successful business than I am, but I noticed that the bearings were gone. I assumed they just rotted away, which is no big deal to me. So the problem is now when it's sitting on the concrete, it's sitting at this height instead of in the middle. So these bristles might have been taking more force to move this thing around. It wasn't as maneuverable. So again, part of being resourceful, guys, that's a common theme I'm gonna push. Go get some washers. You need some space? Don't buy $40 wheels from Whisper Wash. That's crazy. $40 for a caster that's gonna rot away, when you can just go get some spacers, stainless steel, and throw them in there. Now you got your height back, the thing's gonna roll a lot better, all right? So be smart with your money, especially if you're not making a ton. Even if you are making a ton, you still want to be a good steward of your money. Speaking of spending good money over bad, let's go ahead and talk about, I guess what I would say is the star of the show, the 4-gallon-a-minute backpack sprayer. That's right. This thing will save your back, it will save your knees, and will save your time. Save you a whole lot of frustration. It's all about saving, right? If you can work smarter and do the job in the same amount of time and not kill yourself doing this, you're gonna be able to do it for way longer, all right? So the reason I like this so much is because, one main reason, I can go to my soft wash unit, fill this thing up with the hottest bleach I can. I could go full strength if I wanted to with a little bit of soap. It ain't gonna hurt this, but what it will allow me to do is then spot treat areas that are really bad and use minimal effort, minimal time, and minimal chemical. Because again, If you're spraying that 7 gallon a minute soft wash machine, you're going to be going through your chem really fast. When you do this, if you're smart about it, you can use it very efficiently and make things look really good, guys. And you don't have to drag 200 feet of loaded rubber hose around the house just to do a little job. So be smart, get yourself a sprayer. You don't have to get the backpack one. I would advise you not to get the cheap 1 gallon or whatever that is. I don't even know. That thing broke the first time I used it, and I just think the gasket on it is so cheap when it actually got exposed to chemicals, which it should be rated for. It's not, and that gasket basically disintegrated. So yeah, get you a sprayer, get some extra gas, because if your pressure washers aren't working, you're out of a job. You got to pack everything up, roll all your hoses up, drive to go get gas. Not to mention, you might have a full tank or a half a tank water. You don't really want to be riding around with that. So now to the real star. I was just kidding earlier. I love this thing, but I love this thing even more. This is a 10 gallon a minute poly belt, CRX 680, 679, whatever, splitting hairs. Thing is great. It runs quiet, it runs smooth, it starts every time. I've never had any issues. You change the oil and filter on it, and these things are going to last a long time. Now, I bought this during COVID, or at the very end of COVID, when Hondas were still really hard to get. Every Honda I could find was attached to either like a 12 gallon a minute gear drive, which is just too long for the setup I had, or it was just something else I didn't really want. Local company here in Florida. If you're interested, I can drop the name in the comments below. You have to ask me, I will not just put it out there. But they put these together, and this thing is fantastic. It's on this heavy steel plate base. So if you can see that, I don't know if they make these or not. They might. They're pretty smart guys, so they probably found out a way to make it, and they put all their skids on it. That's paired up with an 11 gallon tank. I absolutely hate poly tanks. I hate that every time you open it, they try to spray you in the face with gasoline. I could feed 2 pressure washers off this if I wanted to. Obviously I won't, but it's been a great machine. I've not had any problems with it. They do make newer versions now with the throttle control over here. So again, that was something they were asked to do for so long. They finally got around to do it. Unfortunately, you can't buy that throttle accessory and add it to this. On advice of FNA, I reached out to them personally. Basically, the whole way the top of the engine is designed, there's no way to add that wire routing system to this. It basically have to be rebuilt completely differently. So your boy's not going to do that. Here, let's go here. Let's not skip around. A little bit of gasoline. Now, what you guys are going to like is, you always hear about starting out. What should I get? What should I get? Realistically, anything you get will be valuable to you as long as you're in the business, because there's some jobs that are just so small and you want to be delicate, or you just don't want to have a 10 gallon a minute machine throwing all that force at something. Even rinsing plants, even doing pavers with delicate flowers and stuff behind it. My first machine was this little 2.5 gallon minute, and I still use it almost every job. I use it to strip paint. I mainly use it with like a turbo nozzle or something if I'm doing some edging and I don't want to do so much water to flood the concrete or whatever it is. It's really invaluable having a machine like this that's also really extremely versatile. And I'll show you how I'm feeding this with water. Unbelievably, it's not coming from the tank. I made a Y over there, but I'll show you. But this thing starts up every time. I'm gonna keep it as long as I can. Another nice thing is I bought it new, and I've almost never run it at full pressure. That unloader on there, right here, has almost never been run at full pressure, even when I did car detailing. So, you know, it's almost got no wear and tear on it. It's got a little bitty leak on the front of that pump seal, but it leaks like a drop a year, or a drop a month, I should say. So really no cause for concern at all. Here, what I'm leaning on right here, always have a spare tire. Again, be smart, be self-reliant. Don't let something simple and silly shut your business down for a whole day. Especially, we all know how hard it is to come across those jobs when you need them. And if you're gonna let a flat tire mess up your whole day, possibly your week, come on, man, you got to do better than that. So let's pop this open. Again, free toolbox. Got it from a customer. When people like you, they try to give you stuff. So be likable and be nice, be kind, be courteous. All right, let's pop it. All right, so quite a bit of stuff going on in here. Looks like a jumbled mess probably on camera, but realistically, it's actually pretty organized. If you open this blue one, I've got all kinds of tips. I've got an extra injector. Again, I got an injector over there, but I got an extra one. And I have one in here that's not even built yet. All kinds of tips for soft washing, tips for my pressure washer, extra wands, funnels, stuff like that. If I'm in a sketchy area, hell, even though I got that bike lock on there, I can still throw on another lock. And I know these are cuttable, but usually thieves are lazy, right? So anyway, that in here, I've got wrenches and files and a big old turbo nozzle. Now, if you've seen my channel at all, or if you've heard me talk a lot on the internet, you'll know that I rarely say pressure is the answer. However, sometimes you need it. Now, if you can see the size of that orifice, it's a 10 gallon a minute rated turbo nozzle, and this thing absolutely rips. It's almost deafening to use, and I rarely use it, but the couple times I have, it's been invaluable. It's also really good at edging grass, because it'll yank that grass right out of there and you wouldn't even know it's there. So, close that up. Again, let me show you this. This is a soft wash wand. Everybody knows what that is. But for some reason, on the rare occasion I actually do see another pressure washer like out in the wilderness, and we both look at each other and we look at each other's equipment and give each other a nod like, yeah, we're doing it. They've inevitably got something leaking on their pressure washer. I've seen full-blown companies around here, a big truck, big trailer, and that trailer is like spewing water out of the side of it into the road. But you know, it's just a couple of guys on there probably getting paid hourly. It's not theirs, it's not their problem, so why would they care about it? But when you're a business person, even a small business person like I am, especially when you're a small business person, you gotta have extras. Got extra tape, like that injector I told you about. I've got ways to build a new wand, extra swivels, those are incredibly important. They do go bad. All kinds of bushings, you know, I got tips on tips. I got extra O-rings. Each one of these is a bag of like 100 O-rings, right? Not that. Yeah, there's other O-rings in here, but basically, you just want to keep all your stuff together and make sure that you have as many bases covered. These aren't even necessary, but I got extras. It's a little dinky filter for like your bleach to make sure that junk doesn't get sucked up into your pump. You know, that stuff's important. Be smart with your money and spend it where it needs it. I'll close that in a minute. Anyway, let's keep going. Let's walk around here. Let's put everything back. I blame you guys for this because it was organized until I had to show you everything. There we go. Extra oil filter, you know, little silly stuff like that. It costs nothing to have it. One gun, I got two more guns on the back, right? There's one over there and one over there. Got some oil, brake cleaner, goggles, very important. I'll tell you a story about those. Funnels, you know, some rags. Most importantly, I'm not a millionaire, so I can't afford to have a complete separate trailer, but I have a very good mechanical understanding of that. I know this thing is bulletproof, but what about soft washing? There is a guy, Southeast Soft Wash. He's been an incredible help to me in the last couple of years, and I haven't mentioned him till now, but he will hammer you about having an extra soft wash pump. You never know when it's going to go out. You never know how far away the next pump will be, and you're, as a business person, you have to understand that you can't afford to be down. All right, think about like a big landscaping company. They don't just have two trucks that work all the time. I guarantee you they have an extra truck or two and an extra trailer that is ready to go at all times, because they can't afford to not be out there cutting grass, right? So anyway, you know, I drive the point home enough. I got grease for the trailer. You gotta take care of your stuff, man. I see so many raggedy ass trailers out there. The wheels are like bent out. There's also no grease in it. They squeak, they're rusted, and I'm just thinking that's gotta be the most unsafe thing within like a mile of me. And there's no way, right? There's no way I'm letting my business be reliant on something that can barely carry its own weight. Either way, not to get too preachy. Oh man, it's hot out here. Degreaser, a bucket. Always keep it covered, keep it secured. This thing is just tied on here. Again, my pressure washer's right here. It's force fed from that 3-inch line from right here. We got our T. So when I first bought this setup, I paid those guys who sold me that big machine. Sorry, I was gonna sneeze. I paid the guys who put the initial load out on the trailer. It was these 2 reels, right? It was that pressure washer and this tank, and it had a different bleach tank in the back, and we'll go into that in a minute. But it was a straight shot water from here all the way up. Well, from the beginning, I always knew I wanted to add my little machine back on here because it was pretty apparent to me from early on that machine is pretty much abusive, right? If you're not spraying it with 2 hands or using it to clean concrete, you don't want to be one-arming that thing the whole time. So basically, I knew I wanted to put my little guy on there. So again, back to self-reliance. I could have went over there and paid them to do this a better way or whatever. Just go get you a ball valve. Go to Home Depot, figure out piping. Figure out, is it threaded pipe? Is it hose barbs? Whatever it is you need, figure out how to do it and do it yourself. People keep asking on Facebook, like, what is the best, oh, you probably want to see me. What is the best equipment to start with? And it's like, well, it's probably whatever you can get your hands on in combination with something that you know how to work on, because you're going to be out here working on it. All right, I just found out yesterday there's a bolt missing from under here right there, and I had no idea. Now I realize this thing is moving, and I was just starting to drive down the road and I saw the hose just slowly falling off. So thankfully I caught it in time, shoved this back in there, right? You got to know what to do. Anyway, back to this. This is just some Flexzilla. Everyone talked about it. It's pretty good. I don't think there's any such thing as magic hose. Like, it's all right. It's flexible. It's pretty abrasion resistant, but it ain't magic. At one point, this is gonna get caught on something. It's probably gonna get caught on a house. It's gonna rip open, and then I'm gonna have to get some extra hose, right? Again, be prepared for things to go wrong. You're dealing with crucial elements here. You have to put water in your tank to turn on your pressure washer. If you can't do that, your job is over, all right? The water has to be able to get from your pressure washer to your pressure washing hose over here. Again, any of this could be used in that. That's all 3/8. All right, that looks like a chunky hose because it's a 1/2-inch hose, but you can use 3/8 there. They're all 3/8 fittings, and so it's already restricted. You can finish a job with it, all right, and then replace it back with that. Anyway, moving on over here, we finally got the soft wash unit, all right? Nothing special. Again, I paid Seda tool and equipment for this unit. It was the nicest package I could find locally, right? Why spend $2 grand on something and then have to turn around and pay, you know, $200 on shipping? Anyway, it's a real nice package. It's well built. It flows really well. You know, you got the deep cycle battery. It's a nice pump, and it's very simple. Everything's laid out very nicely. So even if you have no idea what you're doing, if you can follow simple instructions and just take a picture before you take anything off, you can fix anything in here, all right? It's all nuts and bolts. Over here, it's not even nuts and bolts. It's just a little flippy switch, right? There we go. Charge is right here. Make sure you charge your soft wash system. I couldn't imagine how embarrassing it would be to roll up to a house. Let's say it's a big job. You get out there, let's say you drive an hour for this job and you're excited. You get there, you get halfway through the job, and you don't run out of bleach, something doesn't break, your battery dies. You just forgot to charge it. That's so crazy, but it could happen to anyone, right? So don't be that guy. It looks terrible. You're gonna have a terrible day. Your customer's gonna be like, really? They're gonna think you're a moron. And you should feel like one, right? If you let that happen. Charge your damn soft wash system. You guys charge your phones every night. Why not charge the thing that's making you money, right? This is just a dummy wand. I keep it there so I can keep that on there. When I pull that off, pull it over, right? Anyway. So again, extras. That's extra soap. I can make a fresh batch if I want to. Got my controls over here. Yeah, got my controls over here. Got your bleach. Got your water, which is pretty much always going to be fully on. And you got your soap. Now, I always mix my soap. It should be 15 to 1. I go about 10 to 1, which again is a big tip I got from YouTube. People will mix it up, and then God forbid you run out of more concentrate, you can just add water in there and it'll give you some sort of adhesion, a little bit more sudsiness, right? Because the whole goal is you want that bleach to stay up on the roof. You don't want it just running off into the plants. You want to slow it down and eventually it'll stop, right? Anyway, going on, got an extra wand here. Now this already has a tip in it. This tip pretty much stays in here. Let me show you real quick. This tip pretty much stays in here. It's a 12 gallon a minute tip, sprays 40 degrees, and this thing is a pro at clearing out grass, rocks, pretty much anything at all that gets in my way. Now, I wouldn't use it to rinse a house or anything because one main reason, there is such an incredible amount of force coming out of this tip that it's gonna knock over plants. I've personally knocked over a pot before, a little pot, blew it halfway across the driveway. Thankfully it was plastic, but the little plant in it, you know, it did lose some dirt. So you want to be careful about whenever you're pressure washing around someone's house. That thing will blow out window seals, it'll blow out, it'll shred a doormat. It can do all kinds of stuff that you probably didn't consider before it happens. Trust me, I've done both of those things. I blew a plant pot clear across the driveway, and I shredded my best friend's doormat. Thankfully, it wasn't anything important, but if that was a customer, you'd probably be buying a doormat, right? And down here, you know, just to finish up, got a little scrubby hose, got a big one and a small one. That one does have a squeegee on the back, all right? So, again, guys, that's just my setup. That's how it is right now. And right now, it's perfect for what I do. Any job that I bid, I know I can do it, and this can do any job that I bid. So it's really all about getting something that's good and versatile and then taking care of it. And then if something breaks, you can upgrade, you can buy the same thing again, but don't feel the need to go out and always be buying the next new thing, right? A lot of this stuff, especially the pressure washing stuff, is left over from when I only had the small one. Now, thankfully, a lot of it works because I'm running 3/8. So, you know, take your time, learn your stuff, figure out what it is you want to do, and then you can make your decisions based on that. Because every time you ask someone in Facebook, what should I get? What's the best? Well, damn, it's so hot out here, my GoPro had to take a break. But let me just finish up by saying, brief synopsis of the main goal of this video is to show you that you can work up to things, all right? Don't go buy all this stuff. Don't buy all this before you get your first job. Hell, don't even buy it after your 10th job, all right? Because you need to make sure that you can keep it paid and financed if you have to do that. A good tip, if you're up for the challenge, go out and get you a 1-year interest-free credit card from a bank. Banks are dying to give guys that, right? And if you're working a job and you don't have anything else to put your finances into, go out there and make it happen. Easier said than done, I know, but just get out there and grind If you live in an area that's not so heavily commercialized like mine, you're gonna have a lot more business owners and store owners that work in the places, or at least care. You'll be able to make it back. Every business, go in there, leave your cards, get nice looking professional made cards, all right? And try to draw people's eye away from just everyone else's. Do something different, all right? Let me show you one more thing before I go. If you're gonna invest in signage, get bigger signage than I did. This is like 2x3 and it's not nearly big enough. Should have been 4x6. It should take up the whole back of this thing. And it's okay for the person right behind me, but if someone is driving by, they can't read it until they're almost passing the car and it's too late. I tried to justify it at first, saying, oh, you know, I'll be in traffic a lot. You'll have one person behind you, and then that person will leave and you'll have another one person. So the reason they make billboards so big is because thousands of people are going to drive by it every day, and there's a better chance of it being seen and comprehended by the people driving if it's big. So I got a lot of stuff on here. License, insurance, cancel wash, phone number, you know, email, email address, sorry, web address, then a bunch of stuff that I do. Residential, commercial properties, you can barely see it, right? I thought it was clever. Oh, you know what they'll never see? They'll never see licensed and insured. That doesn't even stand out from 20 feet away, even in broad daylight, unfortunately. But that sign will get repurposed. It'll go somewhere else. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, you know, leave a like. Think about subscribing. That's okay if you don't, but leave a comment. And if you have any questions about what I got going on here, let me know. Maybe I can help you out. Again, I don't see you as competition. There's like 20,000 homes within like 10 square miles of me, probably more. And I'm not really worried about competition. Even if you're right next door, I have a pressure washer who lives next door and we work together. So the more that we can all work together and get these jobs, we can work it out. But that's beside the point. Just if you have any questions, let me know. This is Denzel from Castle Wash, and this was my equipment tour video. I appreciate you for tuning in. Thanks.